Okay, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you live at the SUTD auditorium that is at 8 Somapa Road. And although we can't be with you physically today, we are blessed to be with you virtually, and we have an amazing panelist lined up for you guys. Today's session is actually Global Exposure in SUTD. And I know what you guys are thinking. We miss traveling, we all miss traveling, and we can't wait to travel again. But here at SUTD, we are optimistic and we are hopeful for the future, where traveling is once again possible. And frankly, I can't think of anyone better than to explain our overseas opportunities than our Deputy Director for International Relations, Ms. Evelyn Tan. So Ms. Evelyn Tan, I heard you brought some slides with you. Maybe we can start with that.
Thank you, Fahim. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Evelyn. It's my pleasure to share with you the different overseas opportunities here in SUTD. So let me start off by showing you this our academic calendar. So over here in SUTD, we believe that global exposure is very important for students to gain the world view and, of course, to nurture skills and attitudes beyond the book knowledge that you will gain in your classrooms. So under our academic calendar, as early as year 1, students have the opportunity to gain the regional exposure to countries in ASEAN and also in China, through our new initiative, the Freshmore Asian Cross-Curricular Trips. So under FACT is actually an integral program as part of our Freshmore curriculum. These are week-long immersion programs that are led by our faculty members who are teaching the Freshmore courses. It's an opportunity for students to, other than fulfill academic learning objectives that are tied to the Freshmore courses, students have the opportunity to immerse in the host country's culture, as well as make new friends and build networks with their peers from partner universities in these regions. Later, you will hear more about the sharing on the experience in our FACT program from one of our student panelists here. And of course, during your summer breaks or vacations, you can actually look forward to, through our summer programs, which are as short as 2 weeks or as long as 14 weeks, to spend your summer overseas through different overseas summer programs, summer schools, as well as overseas research attachments. In addition, during your independent activity period in January, you will also have the opportunity to embark on short trips and winter programs, which are mainly student-initiated, either through your clubs and societies, or maybe also through your faculty, through your pillars, through these faculty-initiated trips. So these are typically 1 to 2 weeks long and are meant to be short during your IAP period in January. And of course, under our new academic calendar, there is this opportunity for you after term 5 to create your own unique global experiential pathway. What do I mean by that? After term 5, students can choose to go either on exchange or an internship during the fall break, or choose to go on an internship as long as 6 months from January to June, or even a summer for a term-long internship if they go for an overseas exchange in fall. So under this new academic calendar, students have the opportunity to create your own unique, experiential footprint that actually best suits your needs and interests. And we bring on board different opportunities, overseas opportunities for you to enable you to do that. And here in SUTD, we have actually built a vast network of international partners. In fact, there is a good mix of partners from different parts of the world, Americas, Europe, and Asia. So we work very closely with these partners to bring on board different global opportunities for our students based on our partners' different strengths. And we believe in working very closely with them to achieve mutually beneficial outcomes for both our students. So I hope this gives you a short overview of the different overseas opportunities that we have in SUTD. For more information about our programs and details of these programs, please feel free to visit our global webpage at our SUTD website. Visit our YouTube channel for our YouTube videos, follow our blogs, or even follow our Instagram accounts for more information coming your way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Evelyn. And with that being said, I'm excited because we have a lovely group of people here. We have Daniel, Wei Ying Xuan, and Amrish. They've all been on wonderful overseas trips, and actually they're here to share the overseas trips with you guys. So without further ado, maybe we can start with Daniel. It says here you intern at Connection at Silicon Valley. First of all, wow, that's impressive.
Thanks.
Maybe you can share with our online viewers what the experience was like, and maybe something that you've learned or gained from that experience.
Sure. I think one of the things that I've learned in Connection Silicon Valley is, of course, working with people from different countries, and being able to talk to like startups in that co-working space is definitely a new learning experience for me as a university undergrad. One of the things that I've learned is really to be curious, to be sociable, and just talk to more people over there and learn as much as possible, because there is something, an experience that you probably can't get over here in Singapore. Yeah.
That's well said. I just want to ask, what is the one most memorable moment that you had at Silicon Valley? Most memorable. If you could pick one.
One of it would be to me and my colleague Stefania. We actually went to this high place, like a high building, and we just drank martini over there. I thought that was a really beautiful sight, and yeah.
Amish, do you want to go now to Silicon Valley after hearing that?
Well, I think it sounds like a very interesting experience, especially his most memorable moment. Hopefully I can experience it someday.
But you went to, Amish here went to Thailand for a fact trip. Maybe you can explain to us what's that all about?
Oh yes, so I'm Amrish. I'm actually currently an ISTD junior. So in my very first year, in my freshman year, I was actually part of a very small team of around 14 students and 2 faculty members who went to Ratchaburi, Thailand, which is about 3 hours west of Bangkok. So because fact trips are organized around like freshman modules, so it provides like exposure, like real world exposure. So mine was previously known as the physical world, so whereby we actually went to like a rural school within Ratchaburi, Thailand, and then we actually had to implement a solar-powered lighting system for the primary school there. So other than just learning about like how we can implement such things, there was also like many like other experiences whereby we had to actually work together alongside like the physical implementation of the system with the students there. So yeah, I think it was pretty interesting because in SUTD here, collaboration is like one of our core values. So I was really able to witness that on a totally different front with foreign students there.
So with that being said, are you able to speak the Thai language fluently?
Unfortunately, I cannot. It was a short 7 days, but we also had to learn how to, when we were speaking to them, we had to learn how to speak such that they were able to understand, and we had to speak with a lot of patience.
So so we speak a lot of patience. Okay, that's good advice. I shall go for that fact trip in another life. Okay, so now we move on to Wei Ying, who is our EPD alumni, and you went on a trip for the Global Exchange Program all the way in Stockholm, Sweden. Care to share with the online viewers how was it like? How's the weather? Anything?
Oh yeah, hi everyone. So my name is Wei Ying. I'm currently a Masters of Engineering student in SUTD, and I graduated from EPD last year. So yeah, I went to Stockholm, Sweden, KTH Royal Institute of Technology. Yeah, it was a very different place from SUTD. That's what I would say. It's a very large university, and it has, it's basically how do I put it? I basically had a lot of fun there in essence, and there were a lot of research opportunities there as well. So, Sorry,
So
what's the question?
maybe you can share with us some things that you've learned from the people of Stockholm.
One thing that I've learned from the people of Stockholm. So Stockholm is a very different place from Singapore in essence. The people there are generally quite nice, but it's also important to take note that
Okay, maybe it's too exciting and then you I think you're lost for words. We can move on with Ying-Xuan first. Ying-Xuan, you went to Berkeley on exchange. I heard so many good things about it. You have to tell us about it right now.
All right, thanks, Fahim. So, hi everyone, I'm Ying-Xuan. So, I'm a final year undergrad in ESD. So, under the Global Leadership Program, I went to UC Berkeley for summer exchange 2 years ago. Yeah, so like what Fahim said, it was really, really fun. Yeah, I guess the overall experience of being in a large university campus was very different from what we have in SUTD, which is like a close-knitted community where you get to soak into like the large student population environment and experience the culture over there. And especially the fact that there are many students across the globe that goes to UC Berkeley for summer exchange. You really get to meet lots of people there apart from just the local students there. Yeah, I guess one memorable experience would be being exchange students, you definitely want to travel, but that doesn't also mean like we neglect on our studies. So I think there was a really memorable weekend where we went to a national park with very limited internet connection, and some of us who are taking a course had a project deadline due that week, so we were taking turns to like do the project in the car on our way there. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like SAT students. Wayne, maybe you're gonna come back and explain to us the exciting thing that you're gonna say.
Oh yeah. So I think one of the more memorable experience that I had in Sweden was probably seeing the Northern Lights. Traveling was quite convenient in Europe in a sense, because you basically don't need to bring your passport everywhere. You can just bring the ID in a sense. Yeah. So when I was there, I managed to travel to 10 different countries. I even got to go to Russia. Yeah. And apart from traveling, I also got to intern at a research institute there as part of KDH. And yeah, I basically learned a lot of things there. So.
Okay, yeah, that sounds awesome. And maybe now we can move on. Do you have time we can move on to the Q&A? Or is it a bit too early? We can talk some more. Okay, so yeah, so thanks for joining us for the Q&A. We love to hear any of your questions, and we thank you for sending in your questions. And let's start with this first question. How will overseas opportunities be like with the current COVID situation? So maybe Ms. Evelyn, you want to answer this?
Sure, Fahim. I think, this is probably a question that many students and many prospective students are interested to know. The COVID pandemic, of course, has definitely caught us unawares, and many countries, are still, having in the process of rolling out their mass vaccination programs. Travel restrictions are still in place. So over here at SUTD, we have actually put in place some of the alternative measures or options that we have a so-called plan for our students. And if, of course, if travel restrictions are not lifted in any time soon, actually our students can look forward to virtual programs. In fact, for FACT program, the Freshmore Asian cross-curricular trips, we have been working with our partner universities in ASEAN and in China to roll out programs virtually for both our students and our FACT partners' students, so that students can still fulfill academic learning objectives and at the same time make friends, albeit just on a virtual platform. So we hope that these virtual programs could still continue to bring students from both universities closer together. And of course, in summer, whilst travel is still not possible, we have partner universities from all over the world who have actually put in place online summer programs which our students can also enroll themselves into and continue their learning with these partner universities online. So some examples would be like for UC Berkeley, for Stanford University, as well as for TU Berlin in Germany. These are universities who are offering programs under our Global Leadership Program umbrella. They are rolling out online programs for our students as well, and our students can continue to take these courses and continue their learning online. And not forgetting that whilst international travel is not possible, we are also working with our local university partners, through their local summer programs to offer our students the opportunity to still experience a learning environment outside of SUTD. So these are in the works, and we are hoping to roll them out this year and bring on board, these different programs which our students can experience and look forward to.
Okay, so I hope that answers your question, and yeah, we hope and we pray that the global situation will get better. So maybe we can move on to the next question. Will there be opportunities to collaborate or visit MIT considering the previous partnership? Okay, that's a very, very good question. And I think, Ms. Evelyn, you want to take this one again?
Yes, sure, Fahim. I think definitely there will be opportunities for students to visit MIT. I think our faculty members, our professors are, still having, research collaborations with MIT counterparts and collaborators as well. Students can actually look forward perhaps to, visit MIT through some of these research collaborations or tie-ups that our professors have with their MIT counterparts. There could also be other programs, as from what I understand, maybe in the entrepreneurship and innovation space, where there is actually opportunity for students to participate in MIT, related or MIT affiliated programs. So definitely, although our, strategic partnership with MIT has concluded successfully, but the opportunities for further collaboration, I think, are still aplenty, between SUTD and with MIT. So I hope that answers this question.
So maybe, are students selected by the profs to go for these overseas trips, or can students choose for themselves? And okay, I'm going to give this to Miss Evelyn, but the next question, let's have a fun one. Okay, so to all of you online, let's ask some of our lovely friends about their overseas trips. So, okay, Miss Evelyn?
Okay, sure. Thank you, Fahim. Actually, over here in SUTD, I think the beauty is that we bring on board different opportunities for students that cater to your different needs and interests. So, for instance, coming to FACT program, this is actually a program that is offered to all freshmore students. In fact, as long as you're a freshmore student, you are taking a freshmore course, that particular freshmore course has a FACT program going on, whether virtually or physically. You are able to sign up for the program. But of course, for each particular program, there are a limited so-called number of slots. And of course, some programs could, enroll students on a first-come, first-served basis, or some programs could have certain prerequisites, or students need to go through interviews. So for FACT, you can actually, select to go or, participate in whichever FACT program that is of interest to you. For summer programs, we offer many summer programs that are available on a self-financed basis. Students can actually choose as well which summer program they would like to go for. For GEXP, which is our global exchange program, students can actually, select the overseas exchange university that they desire to spend a term with. But of course, for global exchange program, students would have to ensure that the overseas exchange university offers them the courses that are relevant to their field of, of study, and they can actually, come up with a suitable study plan that would ensure that they are on track for graduation thereafter. So I hope that answers this question as well.
Okay, actually maybe you can stick to this question because I'm very curious, Ying-Xuan, maybe you can share with us why you actually chose Berkeley as your choice university for the global exchange.
Okay, thanks, Fahim. So for Global Leadership Program, you actually have 4 places to choose from. You have UC Berkeley, you have Stanford University, and you have TU Berlin and Zhejiang University. So reason why I chose UC Berkeley was pretty much straightforward. Personally, I've always wanted to experience the culture of an American university. And for me, I felt that, those 2 universities in the US, Stanford and UC Berkeley, are using the more traditional methodology of teaching. So that was something that I wanted to experience as well, which is quite different from SUTD, I would say. Yeah, and I also feel that because I wanted to take a computer science course over there, and I felt that it was more appropriate to go over there as well. Yeah, then comparing Berkeley and Stanford, I personally felt that Berkeley was more accessible to places to have fun, like tourist attractions, and also traveling out of campus. Berkeley is actually easier to travel out from. Yeah, so it was a rather straightforward decision. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So maybe we can move on to the next few questions. Okay, awesome. A fun one, finally. What is one thing you were surprised by when you visited other countries? And I have to refer to maybe Amrish, you went to Thailand. It's a Southeast Asian country and we are all under ASEAN, one family. So maybe you can explain to the viewers what is one thing that surprised you when you visited Thailand?
Okay, for me it was quite an interesting experience because there were other fact trips also that were like going towards Jakarta, Indonesia. There was one in Bangkok, Thailand. But then for me, I actually wanted to visit like a state that I've never been to before, which is why I chose the trip to Ratchaburi, Thailand, because I wanted to visit like a more rural part of Thailand. Then the thing that I was most surprised by is like the university, which is like KMUTT, King Mongkut University of Technology, Thonburi. The university resembled SUTD like quite a lot. And then the students, even the students there, when they were working in teams, like most of them were in their 2nd or 3rd year, most of them were actually from different majors like electrical, engineering, mechanical. So I was actually very surprised that it was very similar to that of SUTD. So this is more in relation like to the university rather than the country, I feel. Yeah.
Were they outperforming our Singapore students?
Define outperforming.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Okay, so let's stick with this question and maybe you can get Daniel on board with this one. So what is one thing you were surprised when you visited the holy grail of all tech industry, Silicon Valley? Yeah, tell us about that, please.
Okay, for one, I was thinking about it just now when you asked this question. It's like driving is so normalized in California and Silicon Valley that people don't usually take the public transport. And the public transport there, it's not really as good as the one in Singapore. I can assure you, Singapore public transport, it's really good. So yeah, but people still take their public transport often. But more people actually drove over there, so it's a bit different, yeah.
You managed to drive in Silicon Valley?
Actually, we did. So some of us rented a vehicle and then we drove to like Lake Tahoe for the weekend. So it's pretty fun. So if you can drive, I think it's really good to just rent a car and drive with your friends.
So your advice is get your driver's license.
Yeah.
That will be the advice. So maybe we can move on to a couple more questions. Okay, what specific advice would the students give like on what to take these opportunities during the course of their study, and which is more appropriate for certain interests? I think that's a very excellent question. And maybe Wei Ying, you want to talk more about the advice, the studying advice for the students going overseas? I think that's equally important as much as having fun.
I think it depends on what the student want in essence. So for me, I actually had the opportunity to go for GLP, but I gave it up because I knew that I wanted to go on an exchange program in Europe at least. So for me, it's the other way around in a sense. You have to pick and choose what you actually want. And which is more appropriate dependent on your study. For mine, because I went on exchange, I have to clear my modules there. So I essentially chose my university based on whether they can fulfill my course criteria. KTH is a very renowned engineering university, so which made it a lot easier for me in order to decide what courses can I clear.
So maybe you can explain to us one course in KPH that you took, and how is it maybe relatable to the student studying life in SUTD?
Student studying life.
Sorry, to the academic program in SUTD.
Academic program. I took this module called Algorithms, Intro to Algorithms in KTH. And SUTD also has this module, but it's conducted differently. So in KTH, we actually handwritten our codes in exam. But in SUTD, there wasn't that much coding component if I know from what I hear, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, maybe Yungshen, you want to jump in and share also one course that you took at Berkeley that is either totally similar or totally different from the academics in SUTD?
Okay, sure. So for me, I took 2 courses in UC Berkeley. I took one course in their computer science faculty, which is data structures and algorithms. So this module can actually be transferred back to ISTD's introduction to algorithms. I would say how these 2 courses differs is that in the SUTD course, we did only pseudocode, but whereas in the UC Berkeley course, we had to understand the underlying data structure and also to learn how to code them out in Java. And so within these 8 weeks, it was pretty intensive, and we had I think around 3 to 4 mini projects that we had to work with. Yeah. The other course that I took was financial economics, partially because my interest lies in fintech, and the Haas Business School in UC Berkeley is well known. Yeah, so I wanted to try out a course there. I would say it would be very different because of how they conducted the course, in a sense that it's in a traditional setting where you go to a lecture theatre with a class of 150 to 200 students, and and the professor will just be speaking on the stage and presenting to you the information. Yeah, and there wasn't any tutorial sessions for the financial economics course. Yeah, I would say one advice I can give is to know what kind of courses you want to take in your overseas opportunity. So for example, I can say that from back then in 2 years ago when I went, Stanford University didn't offer any architecture courses. So students who wanted to go to ASD went to UC Berkeley, where they offered architecture courses in the faculty itself. Yeah.
That sounds very interesting. Okay, we're running out of time, but maybe I just want to ask our students here to just a quick question. Was the overseas exchange or program worth it? And actually, just one sentence to say, to advise the people watching, why was it worth it? So can we just do that? We'll start with Amrish. So was it worth it? Very quickly, was Thailand worth going?
I think it was definitely worth going because you get to marry both in-class learning with a real-world application, and it sort of was towards a CIP, whereby you could actually see a real impact that you had on the students there. And I think that was, to me, it was very fulfilling.
Okay,
yeah.
Yungshen, go. Worth it? Yes, definitely.
Definitely.
For sure. Okay, why?
Why?
In one sentence.
You get to experience the culture over there and meet new people. Yeah.
Okay, Wei Ying?
Yes, it's worth it. It enlarges your worldview, which is quite important.
And lastly, Daniel?
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Basically, you can meet people, be curious, and just learn a lot from them. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. So with that, we come to the end of YSUTD Global Exposure. We thank you so much for joining us here this evening, and God bless the panelists that have joined us today. And you know what? We look forward to seeing you here at SUTD.